All right, and then let's dive into our weapon changes, which we have quite a few. Starting off, we actually broke it down to different categories. So if your category is not first, like rifles, let's say, then don't worry, we will get to that. But let's start about the team shotguns first.
All right, so yeah, as Ben said, basically we kind of group the stuff a little bit. So it's not about only ammo types and then variants or whatever, but actually more like around the weapon classes they are relevant for. So let's talk about some balancing changes for the shotguns. So first off is ammunition in this case. So we made the additional ammunition times available for some of the existing weapons. So this is just moving around. So we were very cautious in the initial release when it comes to ammo types. Like we had to be very careful about the balancing. That's why we used extensive testing with the external playtest group also, and before we even went to test server in order to figure out like is the balance working out. And we have been very conservative when it comes to some of these, and we feel we still have some room there to give more options to the players now that the meta has kind of settled. We understand the power, the potency of some of these things. So the statistics kind of help us quite a lot there in order to figure out what is in a good state, what is problematic, and what needs adjustments. So the first thing on the list here is that we made penny shot available on the Spectre and on the Rival. So it's just additional options for those two guns. I don't think we need to say too much about that one. So the next one is then the Crown King Auto 5 changes. So here in general, we've done some two minor changes to the Auto 5. And in order to kind of nerf it a little bit, but I think down the line you don't really will consider this to be a big thing. The first one is that we've changed the rate of fire to be slightly slower, so it still obviously is a semi-automatic shotgun, and as such it will fire fast. But I think where we had a delay of 0.4 seconds between shots, now it's a delay of 0.6 seconds between shots, so like 50% slower, but obviously it still means it's going to fire at a very high rate of fire. And the second thing we have been doing is we adjusted the sway of aiming down the sights for this gun, and this is in preparation of the next point that we can talk about here, which is that also slug ammunition is moving between some of the weapons. So we will also see slugs available for the Auto 5 and Terminus. And why this was, for example, very important, because obviously in Auto 5 with slugs sounds first off like a very, very powerful option. So for that, we made sure that we have quite a lot of recoil adjustments and just the app option for players to really having a harder time to get the shots in. And maybe before we move on to the flechette thing there, Ben, so you already showed,
Yes.
Let's first have a look at the videos around the slugs. There's a couple of comparisons and we can go through that step by step.
Okay, so let's first take a look at the recoil.
Yeah, so this is the recoil with the slugs, right? So it kind of kicks in. For me, it's hard to see the preview image, so Ben, you need to tell me which of the videos it is. Looks like it's a slug video.
Yeah, it's a slug recoil, and we have another that as well.
Yeah, and then in comparison, yeah, just run through. Yeah. So like you kind of feel like it takes quite a lot of like power in order to get this back on the target. It kicks like a mule, much more stronger recoil than you would normally have on the shot. And if you compare this against the shot recoil,
I can actually help you. Now we can probably see it better.
Oh yeah, that works. Let's go. As you can see, like it's much harder. So if you compare this against the other video then with the shot.
Oh, I have two videos running. I'm sorry. Yes.
Oh, this is yet another one with the slugs.
With the slugs, and then we will have the two videos.
Yeah. Yeah, so like here you see just a bit like not a wall right in front of you, so you see a bit more in distance how much it actually kicks down. So we find it actually pretty hard to hit follow-on targets with it, but it's something again for you guys to decide on the test server directly, and based on that also there will be further tuning and tweaking with it.
And now let's look at the other examples.
Here, so this is basically like just like shooting slugs over there. You can see like it's actually kind of like this guy was really trying to hit. It's not a guaranteed win.
Let's just look at once more. And we have one more of the slugs, I think, and in a good
like the recoil on this one is like slightly below nitro level when it comes to that. And this is, for example, just where you really try to aim. You take your time between shots, and then you can actually down the guy, obviously. As you can see, like the shots being fired at you are actually with shot. You can see, like, obviously he doesn't do much damage there.
Okay, and I think we have videos of the buckshot with.
Yeah, I think it's important for
exactly,
comparison.
That's the comparison.
So this is how it is right now for the buckshot, and you can see, like, this is a much simpler recoil. Now, can you maybe show the one in front of this wall for the slugs directly in comparison again? That was the first video we showed.
Yes. I just have to jump between folders. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. So yeah, it's run, and then let's see the comparison.
So
the recoil
like
is much harder. Yes.
It kicks like 2 to 3 times as much. I mean, this is without fighting it right now, obviously, but it just shows you like the natural pattern of it. Anyways, just try that one out on a test server. We're very interested to see and hear your opinion about this. It's obviously definitely one of the stronger choices we're adding. So we're aware of that. It's a powerful option, and we expect it to also have an impact on the meta, but we don't necessarily think it's a bad idea.
And again, this is the example with the normal buckshot. So you can see that the kick is way lighter.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
It's actually cool. So we can dive into the flat shot headshots at close range.
So we don't have any videos for the just one before we move into that. Sorry, Ben. So the one thing we also added, obviously, is the slugs for the Winfield Terminus. I don't think we have had any videos for that, if I'm not mistaken.
No, we don't.
But I mean, this is rather straightforward, goes in the same direction. So just, again, try it out on the test server, so that you get a feeling for it. And yeah, looking at the rival with slugs at the moment and the usage of it, we don't see too much of an issue from a balancing side.
Awesome. So then actually let's dive into the flash shot ammo that can actually now headshot at close range, which leads to obviously one shot kills. And Dennis, you can talk about it, and then we can roll the video in the background for that.
Sure thing. So basically with flechettes, one of the biggest feedback items we got from you guys was that flechette was good, but it felt lacking. It felt like you like losing this one-hit kill option on it would just not give it enough purpose. So what we've been doing here is saying that if you manage to hit the head, that means the majority of the flechette, the little darts, actually hits the head zone and kills you. You can die from one shot, and you also see like a little headshot icon. So this only works at a very close range, and you only if you hit the head, but at least you do have the chance now. In practice, this means probably not much of a difference, but at least if someone is within close range and you know how to aim, you will be having at least a chance for a headshot, where normally you would at least always had like 2 hits before you could finish off, which many people said like was not good enough for the shotgun.
Awesome. So yeah, the video was running quite a lot. So as you could see, there's a new icon and there's a headshot. So I see that quite a few people are excited that they can finally do that. And is that the only shotgun that actually shows a headshot icon now? Or? Yeah,
so slugs do show the headshot icon because it's just a single projectile. But when it comes to the pellet or the area shotgun shells, like so normal shot, flechette as well as Dragon Breath, only the flechette can do these type of headshots from those, and only if the majority of the hits have been scored from a like on the head zone, and only then will be enough damage to kill a guy. So lots of ifs in that process, but at least the option is available now.
Awesome. And I think that covers our shotguns. Oh, actually that doesn't, because we have all the barrel length comparisons and changes. So let's first go through what the changes are.
Yes. So it's a minimal buff. It's more of a consistency change. Don't expect too much of it, honestly. So we have not changed any of the long barrel weapons. We haven't changed the Romero hand cannon. All of these are in a good spot. There's no need to change any of those from the normal shot behavior. However, we felt that specifically what we call the medium and the short barrel shotguns, and we get to those in a second, what exactly that means. They were always a bit feeling slightly like a nudge too underpowered, and so we're moving them a little bit closer to the full-size shotguns. It doesn't mean much, but it just means that hopefully there will be less frustrating moments where you would really have thought this should have killed the guy and it didn't, and just boosts maybe like the rival hand cannon, it boosts the Spectre hand cannon, it boosts like the bayonet Spectre on the new terminus just a little bit, so they feel just a little bit more powerful and get closer to their larger cousins. Again, on the bigger ones, no change whatsoever.
Exactly. So again, as I said, we only changed some of the short and medium ones, but we actually have a cool little list for you to actually see which one has been changed and which one haven't. So let's look at those. So first of all, we have all the short barrel shotguns here, and if I magically click, then you will be able to see which ones have been changed.
Yeah. So again, the Romero hand cannon and the hatchet, they're in a good spot, so no changes to those. But the other hand cannons, they've slightly been pushed up, so they're a little bit more effective. They're still not as effective as a Romero hand cannon, but they're just a little bit more. If you move to the next category,
which is the medium barrel weapons, and
so here we have the Spectre bayonet, which has a bit of a shortened barrel because of the bayonet lock there. We have the new terminus as well as the rival, and all of those again have just been nudged up a little bit, just so they feel a little bit more reliable than what they are currently. And if you go to the last category,
yeah, just for clarification, the X means that it hasn't been changed, and if there's no X, it means it has been adjusted slightly.
Yeah, so all of those are boosted. Exactly. And then
we have all the long barrel ones.
Exactly. And obviously none of them got boosted. They're all exactly where they have been, and so no change there. So we hope that maybe by seeing that visualized a bit better, you guys have an understanding of which ones are exactly affected by it and what not. Because when we talk about medium long and a short barrel, it might not be instantly clear. So hopefully this graphics help you guys a little bit understanding that.
And at least you guys now know that which we consider short, medium, or long barrel for future reference if we ever talk about them in patch notes or in other text format.